That garlic you just put in your cart, it might not actually be garlic. One gets aged until it turns jet black and sweet. Another grows wild in forests but can be confused with poisonous plants. And the everyday bulb you buy might not even be the best garlic for what you're cooking. So, what are you actually buying? Softneck garlic. You've probably cooked with this garlic hundreds of times without knowing its name. Softneck is the classic white garlic piled up at most grocery stores, and there's a reason it dominates the shelf. It stores ridiculously well. Some varieties can last 6 months or longer when properly stored, and they usually pack more cloves into each bulb than hardneck garlic. And that floppy stem isn't just cosmetic. Because it stays flexible after harvest, softneck is the garlic traditionally woven into those long braids you've probably seen hanging in kitchens. It's practical, familiar, and built to last. But if you've ever cracked open a bulb and found one stiff stalk running straight through the middle, you were holding its very different cousin, hardneck garlic. Hardneck immediately gives itself away. Instead of tons of little cloves, you'll usually find fewer, much larger cloves arranged around one stiff stalk. They're easier to peel, and their flavor tends to be bolder and more complex than your typical supermarket softneck. The trade-off? They generally don't store nearly as long, so softneck is built for convenience. Hardneck is the one garlic enthusiasts often seek out when flavor matters. And that stiff stalk in the middle eventually produces something completely edible. Don't forget it. We'll come back to it. But first, there's a bulb so enormous, you'd assume it would be the strongest garlic here. You'd be wrong twice. Elephant garlic. Elephant garlic looks like somebody took an ordinary bulb and hit the zoom button. Some bulbs can grow around the size of an orange, with cloves absolutely dwarfing regular garlic. So naturally, you'd expect one bite to destroy your mouth. Except, elephant garlic isn't actually garlic. Botanically, it's much closer to a leek, and suddenly, its flavor makes a lot more sense. Despite being enormous, elephant garlic is much milder than regular garlic. Those giant cloves work well roasted whole, sliced into dishes, or even eaten raw, without delivering the same aggressive punch you'd expect from an ordinary clove. So the biggest garlic in this video isn't really garlic, and it's one of the mildest. Bigger definitely doesn't mean stronger. Now let's go in the opposite direction. Real garlic that looks like it should have gone in the trash. Black garlic. If you found this bulb hiding in the back of your pantry, you'd probably throw it away. Black, shriveled, sticky, almost ruined. Except somebody did that on purpose. Black garlic starts out completely normal. Then it's kept warm and humid for weeks until the cloves become dark, soft, and almost jammy. You'll often hear people call it fermented garlic, but much of the transformation actually comes from controlled aging and browning reactions, including the Maillard reaction. And here's where it gets weird. It barely tastes like the garlic you started with. The sharp bite fades into something sweet, tangy, savory, and almost candy-like, often compared to molasses and balsamic vinegar. That's why cooks treat it almost like a completely different ingredient. Mash it into butter or mayo, blend it into sauces and dressings, or even spread it straight onto toast. So we've gone from fake garlic to garlic transformed, almost beyond recognition. Now back to the normal-looking supermarket bulb, because even that isn't as simple as it seems. Artichoke garlic. If you've grabbed a plain white bulb without checking the variety, there's a good chance you've cooked with something from the artichoke group. This is the supermarket workhorse. Lots of cloves. Relatively mild flavor. Easy to throw into almost anything. Pasta sauce, soup, marinades, weeknight dinners. It isn't trying to be exotic. And that's exactly why it works. It's the reliable one. But some garlic is almost the opposite. People go looking for it specifically because of what happens when you roast it. Purple stripe garlic. Purple stripe gives itself away before you even peel it. Purple streaks run across the bulb wrappers, making these some of the prettiest garlics on the list. But looks aren't the main reason cooks seek them out. Heat is. Purple stripe varieties are prized for rich, complex flavor, especially when roasted. Cooking brings out their sweeter side without completely wiping away that deep garlic character. And one particular purple stripe became so prized for baking and roasting that people started looking for it by name. We'll get to that one later, because right now, we're leaving the grocery store completely. Wild garlic. Walk through certain European woodlands in early spring, and you might smell this stuff before you see it. Wild garlic, commonly called ramsons in Britain, can blanket sections of forest floor with green leaves and small white flowers. And unlike the garlic in your kitchen, the bulb isn't really the star. It's actually all about its leaves. They have a fresher, milder garlic flavor, so people turn them into pesto, fold them into butter, blend them into soups, or use them almost like an herb. Sounds great, until you pick the wrong leaf. Wild garlic can resemble poisonous plants like lily of the valley and autumn crocus. So unless you know exactly what you're identifying, this is one ingredient where buying it beats gambling on dinner. From dangerous leaves, we're going back underground, to garlic with cloves so ridiculously large that peeling suddenly stops being annoying. Porcelain garlic. Porcelain is hardneck garlic turned up a notch. The bulbs can be huge, but instead of being packed with tiny cloves, you'll often crack one open and find just a handful of enormous ones. If you've ever gotten annoyed peeling garlic one microscopic clove at a time, you can probably see the appeal. Porcelain also packs a clean, powerful garlic bite. But there's a reason I want you to remember this one. One porcelain variety became famous in North America because of a man named Al Music. His story involves Italy, Canada, and a Toronto taxi. We'll come back to him. First, remember that strange stalk growing through the middle of hardneck garlic? Garlic scapes. That curly stalk is called a scape, and it might be the best part of the plant you've never cooked with. Growers cut scapes while they're young, so the plant can put more energy toward developing the bulb. But those cut stalks don't have to become waste. They're completely edible. The flavor lands somewhere between fresh garlic and green onion, with a grassy bite that's much gentler than a raw clove. Grill them, stir-fry them, pickle them, blend them into pesto. There's just one catch: timing. Scapes only show up for a short stretch each year, so the next time you see those weird green curls piled up at a farmer's market, you'll finally know what everyone else is grabbing. And if you're enjoying these food deep dives, channel members get early access to new episodes, shoutouts, and more perks coming soon. Joining also directly helps us keep making videos like this. Now, what if you don't care about giant cloves or seasonal scapes? What if you just want garlic that refuses to die in your pantry? Silverskin garlic. Silverskin is the storage champion. It's usually smaller and punchier than artichoke, but what makes it stand out is how long it can keep. It's one of the longest storing garlic groups around. And because it's a softneck, those flexible stems also make it a classic choice for traditional garlic braids. So if you buy garlic in bulk, or you're the kind of person who discovers a forgotten bulb hiding in the pantry weeks later, Silverskin is the name worth remembering. But before refrigerators existed, keeping food around required a little more creativity. In one part of France, that meant smoke. Smoked garlic. Smoked garlic looks like somebody left an ordinary bulb way too close to a campfire, but around Arleux in northern France, smoking garlic became a tradition. Bulbs are braided together and slowly smoked, historically helping preserve them, while also giving the cloves their distinctive smoky character. That's what makes this one interesting. Nobody had to invent a strange new variety. People took an ordinary ingredient, used an old preservation technique on it, and turned it into part of a regional food tradition. Today, that smoke is the attraction. Add the cloves to potatoes, meat, soups, or sauces, and you're getting garlic and smoke from the same ingredient. But not every member of garlic's extended family even gives you a bulb worth caring about. Garlic chives. Garlic chives barely bother looking like garlic at all. Instead of breaking apart a bulb, you're after the long, flat green leaves. They're especially common in Chinese cooking, where their garlicky, onion-like flavor shows up in dumplings, stir-fries, noodles, and savory pancakes. And here's something your supermarket bulb can't do: cut the leaves. And the plant can grow back again. So while many of us hear garlic and picture one white bulb, other cuisines have been using its relatives in completely different ways for generations. And now, we're getting into the garlic varieties people actually hunt down. Rocambole garlic. Ask serious garlic growers which garlic they get excited about, and rocambole is a name you'll hear again and again. Even before harvest, the plant puts on a show. Its scapes can curl into tight loops above the ground, like the garlic decided to decorate itself. But the bulb is what earns the following. Rocambole is known for a rich, sometimes nutty flavor, with heat that can hit quickly without hanging around forever. There's just one problem. It doesn't wait around for you either. Rocambole generally stores for only a few months and performs best in colder climates. That's one reason you're much more likely to find it through specialty growers and farmers markets than sitting beside ordinary supermarket garlic. If you find it, use it. This isn't the bulb you forget in the pantry until Thanksgiving. Our next garlic takes us somewhere much more important to garlic's story, back toward where it all began: Persian Star garlic. Persian Star looks like somebody designed garlic specifically for a farmer's market display. It's commonly associated with the Samarkand region of Uzbekistan and is also known as Samarkand. Peel away the outer wrapper, and the pointed clove skins can form a star-like pattern around the bulb. That's where the name comes from, but its location is more interesting than its looks. Central Asia is closely associated with garlic's ancient origins. Humans have been cultivating and moving garlic across regions for thousands of years, long before it became that ordinary white bulb sitting beside the onions at your grocery store. So Persian Star doesn't just look exotic on an American market table. It points back toward the part of the world where garlic's much bigger story began. And from Central Asia, we're moving west to another variety whose location is right there in its story. Chesnok Red garlic. Remember purple stripe? This is why I told you not to forget it. Chesnok Red comes from the Republic of Georgia, wrapped in purple and red streaks that make it one of the easiest bulbs here to recognize. But cooks chase it for what happens when you apply heat. Chesnok Red is especially prized for roasting and baking because the cloves develop sweetness while still holding onto their garlic character. So if you're roasting whole cloves, baking them into bread, or making something where garlic is going to spend serious time in the oven, this is the specialist. Purple Stripe introduced the idea. Chesnok Red is where it pays off. But our next garlic wasn't made famous by an ancient civilization or regional cooking tradition. It became famous because of one guy, Music Garlic. Remember Al Music? In the 1980s, the garlic enthusiast and Toronto taxi driver reportedly brought garlic bulbs back from Italy and grew them on his farm in Ontario. Those bulbs eventually became known as Music Garlic. And remember porcelain from earlier, the hardneck with those enormous, easy-to-peel cloves? Music became one of its best-known varieties in North America. Big cloves, strong flavor, less peeling. But that's not really why this one sticks in your head. A garlic traveled from Italy to Canada in the hands of one enthusiast. And decades later, people are still buying bulbs carrying his name. Not bad for a souvenir. This next garlic gives us the opposite kind of origin story. Instead of knowing the person who brought it, we don't completely know how it got there at all. Inchelium Red garlic. Inchelium Red was found growing near Inchelium, Washington, on the Colville Confederated Tribes Reservation. But trace its history backward, and things get murky. How long had it been growing there? Who first brought it to the region? Where did that garlic originally come from? The trail isn't completely clear. What we do know is what happened when people tasted it. In 1990, Inchelium Red reportedly came out on top in a Rodale taste test against numerous other softneck garlics. And unlike some specialty garlics that sacrifice practicality for flavor, Inchelium Red gives you a bit of both. It's relatively mild productive and stores well enough to actually work as an everyday garlic. Its flavor got figured out. Its full origin story never completely did. Turns out that boring white bulb sitting in your kitchen has a much bigger family and a much stranger history than it lets on. If this changed how you see your kitchen, hit like and subscribe. The next food mystery is already on your screen.